up, the rising layup, good. It's a triple-double for Bella Earl.
Goes matched up with a speedy guard. Great screen, spin move, layup, he missed it. Williamson fights for the board. His putback is good.
You know, I think that music was a little loud. I'll have to tune that down when I edit that. You know, this is the first opener of the season. 2024-25 season is on. College basketball season's on the way, just a few months out from November 4th when a lot of teams tip off. I'm Kyle, founder, owner, operator, whatever you want to call me, of WAC Hoops Nation. Derryl Trujillo, my right-hand guy with the women's basketball coverage. Man, we have not done this since March, right before the WAC tournament. I'm sorry, after the WAC tournament, I'm burnt. Like being at the arena for like 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day and, you know, not getting much sleep. I'm burnt. And I play a old man slow pitch softball during the spring and summer. So don't fault me for that, everybody that's watching. I know there's probably not going to be as many viewers tonight as there normally is because we're not streaming to Twitter. And I you know, that's a selfish reason that I just don't want to pay for the premium subscription. Maybe I should. I don't know, Derryl. What do you think?
I mean, I don't use the premium verified. I mean, to me, the only difference is you can edit your tweets and you have unlimited characters.
Yeah,
that's really the biggest thing.
Well, and from what I understand, you may get more views per your tweet. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I may. I need to go in and maybe retweet the link again. So we'll see what people do. There's, you know, it's Wednesday night. I usually during basketball season we get a lot more views. So yeah, right. I mean, right now we're live. The first episode of the Straight Outta WAC After Hours of 2024-25. It's good times. So tonight, what we're going to do, we are going to draw teams to decide what team previews we are going to do during the weeks, right? We have 9 teams, so we have 9 weeks of team previews. Then we'll bring out our full preview with our preseason rankings, player of the year candidates, or choices, I guess you could say, defense player of the year. What else do they have? Newcomer of the year, was that right? They didn't have a freshman year. They had newcomer of the year, right?
It's newcomer of the year, not freshman of the year.
So, and then our first team all WAC selections. So it will be a little bit biased because it's just going to be Derryl and I this year. So we'll kind of mix and match with the men's and women's, see where we're at on the teams and go from there. But some obviously big news. Grand Canyon basically has 4 or 5 starters back. Colin Moore, Tyon Grant Foster, WAC Player of the Year, came back after testing NBA draft waters. Not sure if he's going to be able to play in the preseason, in the non-conference slate, just because of academic issue. I don't know. There's some kind of draw there that is causing an issue. And then Duke Brennan's back, and Ray Harrison's back. So, I mean, what can you say? And Bryce Drew's team just loaded up. You know, it's pretty safe to say GCU's going to be the favorite. Mekhi Williams, who was basically the WAC freshman of the year, came over from UT Arlington to join the Lopes too. So there's some other faces there. They have a pretty good schedule right now. St. Louis is coming to town. They play Georgia in Atlanta. They play Arizona State, among others. So some good ball games for the Lopes. I think it's GCU's world on the men's side, and we're living in it, Derryl. And that's about it. It's going to be who will be the 2 seed, and can that 2 seed pull off a massive upset? Somebody sent me a question, and I'll get to it later. But on the women's side, I think we both are in agreement that CBU, GCU, UT Arlington are kind of the top dogs this year in that trio. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, I think we're in reasonable agreement there. GCU brought in a nice portal class. Sharika Wright, I think, won the portal this year with the addition of Aspen Thornton from ACU and Zoe Nelson from SFA. But I think we're looking at a solid 1-2-3 there with what is hopefully a fully healthy Southern Utah and ACU at 4 and 5, and then from there it's anybody's guess.
And I don't think this is taking any away. If you're a Utah Tech fan and you're watching this, it's not to take anything away from the Trailblazers. Are they healthy? That's the big question. And Daryl's going to have an article talking with Emily Isaacson later on, probably next week sometime, that comes out about her recovery from her injury. She also got engaged this past week. So congratulations to her. But, is JD Gustin's crew healthy? Plus, I'm not sure that Brianna's coming back. I don't know if she has any eligibility left. I don't think so. So that's a big loss. The all-time leading scorer at the school in program history. So, Seattle U, Skylar Young's getting his crew still together, kind of his team in there. Dan Nielsen, I don't know. It's hard to say what the Wolverines are going to have. They've had turnover in the coaching staff. They've had turnover in the roster. So we'll see. But, I think that top three we're kind of in agreement with. So it'll be interesting to watch that play out, especially considering UTA made a run to the semifinals last year in the WAC tournament. CBU had that epic comeback in the last, 3-4 minutes of the WAC tournament championship game when they hit back-to-back three-pointers. The first 2 3-pointers of the game. So for the Lancers, man, big time.
But they've taken some losses. They lost their big three to graduation too, in Barrington, Webb, and Calhoun. Although the Lancers are probably still going to be in a better spot than a lot of the conference.
Well, they get Grace Schmidt back, so that's a big one. They can shoot it. That's the big thing. They can shoot it. And Jared Olson, all he does is win. And his kids know what I'm talking about because they play that song at their house religiously, from what I understand now. So got a text from him this summer telling him about how his kids, they play that song kind of a lot. So good times. Anyways, so let's get to it. This is what we came here for in this episode, this first episode of 2024-25 of Straight Out WAC After Hours. We're going to be doing this over the next 9 weeks. We're going to be doing it twice a week because we're going to have our recordings with one with coaches and two with either a radio or broadcaster from the school, and maybe a player too. We'll see. We're going to work on that, but twice a week for the next 9 weeks after this week. We'll be bringing the Straight Out WAC After Hours. We'll come live and we'll share the recordings from those interviews on this live stream so you can see with those coaches. We'll also be posting them to the YouTube channel. So follow or subscribe to YouTube, to the WAC Hoops Nation YouTube channel, so you don't miss any episodes of your favorite coaches, maybe favorite players or favorite broadcasters. I don't know, whatever you want to call them. But anyways, Derryl, let's go with you. You pick one women team first, then I'll pick a men's team. I have my hat here. Don't know if you can see it. It's my little WAC Hoops hat. There it is. It's upside down. Sorry, because I got the names in here. And Daryl's going to be randomly drawing his teams. So, Derryl, go ahead with the women's team. Let's see who's first on the list.
All right. All right. Number 1 will be UT Arlington.
Ooh, Sharika Wright's crew. Hope you're out there watching.
Let me open a file so I can record this.
Oh, I got it right here. We got it right here. So, UT Arlington, Sharika Wright, they're going back to Purdue. Her whole stomping grounds where she was an All-American, back to West Lafayette on November 24th. They take on the Boilermakers. I don't know if the ladies are called the Boilermakers or not, but that's Mackey Arena. That's pretty cool. Since I have family that lives back there that are all Purdue alums or Purdue fans, I may have to actually go to that game. I don't know. We'll see. I'm actually going to Purdue-Oregon football game in October. So they're in West Lafayette. So good times. All right. Now for the men. Here we go. Let's see. I'm not looking. I'm looking at the camera. As you can see, I can't see Let's see who's number one here. Oh, look at that. Can you all see that? My handwriting is awful. It's not auto focusing. But
There you go. You got it. I think.
Oh, come on. Focus. Focus.
There, you had it.
There it is. UT Arlington on the men. So the first week of team previews is going to be all UT Arlington. So KT Turner's crew made it to the WAC Tournament Championship game, won 20-plus games last year. And I think there is a little chip on the shoulder of the Mavs this year in year 2 under KT Turner. He's done a great job recruiting, got some size, athleticism. I did lose Philip Russell and Shamar Wilson, among others, Dejuan Gordon. But they're going to be very, very good. Again, his recruiting ties, his relationships and his staff, they've done a great job there. So next week, we're going to work on getting UT Arlington scheduled, KT Turner, Sharika Wright, and we're going to preview the Mavs next week to start off these team preview weeks in the Western Athletic Conference.
And Kyle, wasn't the UTA men one of the bigger national turnarounds, win improvement year over year?
Yeah, 100%. They hadn't had a winning season in like 2 or 3 years. So big time turnaround there. And KT Turner just he got guys that play with a chip on his shoulders, got some athleticism, got some shooters on that squad last year. And unfortunately, the ending to that WAC tournament championship game wasn't great, but it is what it is. Water under the bridge. We're moving on. UT Arlington is the first team that we will preview for the 2024-25 season. Derryl, go ahead and pick your second team.
Okay.
It's going to be ironic if we pick the same teams each time.
All the way through?
Yeah, that'll be very weird. And I'm not even looking, folks. It's in my hat here. Not even looking.
All right, let's see what we got here. Southern Utah.
Ooh, the Lady T-Bird. I don't even call them the Lady T-Birds. But Tracy Mason's team. Tracy Mason's team. Sam Johnston, her daughter, coming back. Delaney Belina coming back. And you mentioned that they were getting Jaden Brown. She's going to play this year? I wasn't sure on that.
It's showing on their roster.
Okay, if that's the Utah Valley transfer, that's big news. So we'll see what they can. Ava Ulrich. Remember that name, Ava Ulrich. We'll talk about her more in 2 weeks when we preview the Southern Utah women's team. That's good timing because I think Spencer McLaughlin, the broadcaster for Southern Utah, will be back in the state of Utah at that time. So we'll have to get him on to talk about the Thunderbirds. All right. Here we go again. Here's my pick. I can't see it. I really can't see it. I promise. Oh, number 2 for the men. The other finalist. All right. There you go.
There we go.
Finalist, the WAC tournament champions, WAC regular season champions, and probably the preseason favorite to repeat and win the WAC in their final season of the Western Athletic Conference. Grand Canyon. We'll get Bryce Drew on. Maybe we'll get Tyon on to talk about coming back, returning. We'll see. I will have to talk about. I may get Colin Moore on to talk about who the best Olympic team is, because he mentioned the 92 team over most of those other guys that were in that video. At least he was the first one, and to tell me what he saw. So GCU will be week 2 behind UT Arlington, who's in week 1. That's ironic, isn't it? Those might be the 2 teams at the end in the WAC Tournament Championship. Again, we'll see. Yeah, we got a long way to go before that happens, but still, it's nice to think about. Okay, Derryl, number 3.
All right, number 3. Utah Tech.
Utah Tech, JD Gustin's crew, number 3, week 3. Oh, there's a lot to dissect there. Both the Warren sisters went down with ACL injuries again. Emily Isaacson was out for the majority of the season, basically the entire season, I should say, with a knee injury. They just – Amber Karchner didn't play at all, and she transferred out.
Actually, according to the database I use, Karchner was unsigned as of the last time I checked it.
She's unsigned, but she's still like in the portal. So we'll go with that. We'll just say that she's not there. She's possibly not coming back. But man, JD Gustin's crew was depleted last year towards the end of the season again. I think if they have the Warren sisters and they have Emily Isaacson, man, they might have made a run at that WAC tournament championship. Like that's just how good those three players are. So we'll see. We'll see. I know there's talk that the Warren sisters are going to come back. Emily Isaacson, you talked to her, so we'll wait for your assessment on her and what you took from your interview. But man, JD Gustin's got a lot of work in front of him, but they're always good somehow. They always score a lot of points, so they're always dangerous.
And this was a portal class that I was very intrigued by looking at it on paper. Lots of experience, lots of very heavy on the three-point line. So the underclassmen are going to have to hold their own down in the paint, but a lot of the portal additions JD Gustin made, and same with Tracy Mason, heavy on the guard line in Utah in the portal this year.
Well, I think they see kind of how CBU won last year. They won with the three-pointer. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out at Utah Tech. JD Gustin and his crew. St. George tough place to play. They got a win over Oregon last year down there at Burns Arena. So good stuff there. So let's go to number 3 for the men. Here we go. Is it going to get in there? Get in there. There you go.
You got it.
Seattle U, the Red Hawks, in their final season in the Western Athletic Conference before they make the move to the West Coast Conference. Chris Victor's teams, 3 straight 20-plus win seasons, a WAC regular season title, share of it 3 seasons ago. Man, they've had some outstanding basketball players come through there in the last 3 years. Riley Grigsby was there for a while. He was there when Victor was an associate head coach on the staff. And, then they get Cam Tyson. They brought in John Christophilus last year, and they're going to be dangerous again this year. They lost Alex Schumacher, Cam Tyson, Shea Riley, and Emeka Udeni, but not Shea Riley. Shea Riley's come back, excuse me. Emeka Udeni, man, I tell you what, I'm excited to see what that Seattle U squad can do. He's brought in some experienced guards, like you said, and some size, some athleticism in the paint. They also lost Brandon Chatfield, who transferred out. So excited to see what Seattle U can do. So, Derryl,
and didn't Victor just recently sign an extension
to your extension too? Yes. Yeah. So big time news there. Okay,
right, so week 4.
Number 4.
All right, here we go. All right, week number 4. It'll be the Seattle U women.
Seattle U women, their final season. We're going to be talking about this final season thing a little bit. Skylar Young, his first season there, had his share of ups and downs. Almost snuck their way into the WAC tournament.
Came within a win at the Red Hawk Center on the final day of making it.
Yeah, in a game that, if I remember right, they had the lead late. I'm trying to go back and look at it. They lost 62-57, and they led throughout. Let's see, it was 43 to 38 going in the fourth quarter, and they got outscored 24-14. That's how close Skylar Young was in his first season of taking the Seattle U women's basketball team to the WAC tournament.
But this year, it's basically an entirely new roster for the Red Hawks. That entire starting 5 went to the portal. One of them more to Arizona State, the other more to Cleveland State. Peyton Howard to Eastern Washington, some of the notable losses to the portal.
Look at some of the transfers he got in. North Texas, Georgia State, Fresno State, Long Beach State, Maryland, Dayton, Syracuse. Like, he's got some players this year in Seattle, in the Pacific Northwest. So Skylar Young's crew could be dangerous. We'll see. We'll see very much what they can do. I'm looking forward to their final season in the WAC. The cool thing is everybody makes it to the WAC tournament, although there is a play-in game at Burns Arena before going to the final 8 at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. So we'll see. Okay, what am I on? What are we on? 4? Number 4 for the men. Number 4 for the men. Here we go. There we go. Our old friends at I can't California Baptist, CBU.
All right.
Braden Bell is no longer at CBU. He went to Arizona State. I'm so disappointed. I'm not going to be able to call games or be on the radio with my buddy at the WAC tournament when CBU comes to Utah Valley, or if I was to attend a CBU game this year. So a little disappointed about that. But on the flip side of it, Rick Croy has a pretty good squad this year. Man, if Dominic Daniels is healthy, because he had the knee injury late last season, if he's healthy, they could be very, very good. He was basically a WAC Player of the Year candidate until he got hurt. But man, they Blondo Chiqueño's back. No, that's 2023. Blondo is not back. Excuse me. I don't know. I hate when the rosters aren't updated before we do these things. It bothers me so bad. I love Daniel Cook and I love CBU, but man, got to update the rosters completely. So, yeah, good times. That's all. That's about all I can say right now because it's not up to date. I wish it was, but it's not. So,
Kyle, I think this is a really big year for the Lancer men. Hopefully, we'll get a year with a fully healthy Dom Daniels Jr. Just looking at what some of the other programs have done on that campus, men's soccer, back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances, women's basketball, second sweep of the titles in a handful of years. I think this is a really big year for Rick Croy and that program to see if they can turn a corner and push themselves up that WAC leaderboard. I mean, we saw how far down the board they fell when they lost Dom Daniels. So
yeah, that was rough. That was like 6 of 7 along that street. Yeah, it was so bad, and they couldn't.
And the saving grace was that they played UTRGV at home in the last 2 weeks, I think it was.
Yeah, and then they had that heartbreak. They had 2 heartbreak losses to Seattle U, and they had one to SFA too. So just crazy stuff. I think you're right, though. I think this is a big year for CBU. I really do. The reason I say that is because when GCU and Seattle U leave, along with maybe UT Arlington, they have one of the higher NIL stuff in the WAC. So they need to start winning games, winning a lot of games, like they should. Like, as soon as GCU and Seattle U leave, this should be CBU's league. That's all I'm going to say. And if it's not, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the issue is, but it should be CBU's league. So they're number 4. Okay, Derryl, number 5. We're getting quick here.
All right, women's team number 5 will be Utah Valley.
Utah Valley, Dan Nielsen's crew. I'm playing in their golf tournament on the 19th. Out here in Talons Cove Golf Course, Country Club. I think it's a golf course. Talons Cove Golf Course. Yeah. Wolverine Club is having their annual golf tournament. So me and a buddy are playing it, which is fun. But, man, don't know what to think. They have these, like, they beat
GCU before Christmas in 22-23.
Yep.
It was the best win of the year. They made the WAC tournament, lost to, was it Utah Tech, I think it was?
I think so, maybe.
And then 23-24, they beat CBU, but they don't make it to WAC Vegas. The Wolverines have shown
Southern Utah right after it. They beat CBU at home, and then they lose to Southern Utah. I think it was like in triple overtime or something. I'm looking at it here. Yeah, it was double overtime. That was
They've
2
shown-
nights later.
Yep. They've shown a knack for beating the top teams in the conference. Can they put it together over 18 games and get themselves into a position where they get to Vegas and show what they can do?
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. It's rough. We'll see. I mean, it's all about being healthy for them. You know, they got Kylie Mabry's back. Amanda Barcelo's back. Sage Gibb, Ali Criddle is back. Talia White is back. So he's got pieces back.
Tessa Chaney had a solid finish to last year.
And they added another 6'4" center in Gracie Sorensen. They have a ton of size. Like, I'm looking at their roster right now. They have a ton of size. Can they put it together for an entire season? That'll be the question mark. Because like we said, they look good in spurts, but then it's like they can't score at other times. So we'll see what happens with the Wolverines in 2024-25. Okay, number 5 for the men. Let's see what we got. John Judkin's crew, Utah Tech. Can you see that? It's not
the autofocus isn't doing it. There you go. You got it.
Utah Tech, number 5. You know, you talk about a team that's going to have a lot of turnover. Utah Tech is going to have a lot of turnover. And, you know, they still have Beyond Riley's coming back. Noah Gonzalez is coming back. So they got pieces, right? They got pieces. God, I don't know. And this is their first year of being eligible for the WAC tournament, or for the NCAA tournament, excuse me, because their 4-year transition period is over, right? So I don't know. They got to win soon. You know, the other problem is they need money. They need money. Talking to people down there, there's no money in the athletic department. They don't even have a president at the university yet. Like, and they may not even have one when this new school year starts. So you got to get a president in there now. Like, don't drag your feet on this. So that's a big issue. But we'll see what the Trailblazers have. Number 5 is Utah Tech. The Trailblazers did not make the WAC. Wait. Yeah. Trying to think. It was UTRGB, Southern Utah, and Utah Tech that did not make the WAC. No. Yeah, the Utah Tech men did not make the WAC tournament last year. Is that right, Derryl?
Let's see. The first night games were
Yeah,
CBU, Utah Valley, ACU, SFA.
Yeah, Utah Tech did not make the WAC tournament last year. So you're that close. Make it. Do what you can. Get there. You should make it this year, but we'll see. I don't think many are going to be high on Utah Tech heading into the season. I think they'll probably be in the 9 spot when the preseason rankings come out. That's just my thought. So they'll prove people wrong, and they'll have some upsets. But I think because of the roster turnover, because there's a lot of unknowns there, yeah, I think they'll be at the bottom of the totem pole coming out preseason. So anyways, let's go. Derryl, number 6.
All right, women's team number 6. Tarleton,
Bill Brock's crew. Man, that guy is a talker. I'm not going to lie. I'm very interested to see what it's going to be like on the podcast when we record with him, how much he's going to talk, because, man, in his post-game interviews at the WAC tournament, that guy was a talker. I like it. I really do, and he's experienced. And that Tarleton team is going to be even better this year. Faith Acker, when I watched her in person in that WAC tournament, man, she's dominant. And I think she's in for a bigger year this year. So, Bill Brock,
I don't think the tape does it justice, just how good a post player she was as a freshman.
Yeah, 100%. Very good hands, quick on her feet too. You may not think
finishes pretty well.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I think Tarleton's gonna be much better. I think they'll be in the middle of the pack, maybe a 3-4 seed if they can. But I think Bill Brock's got that team, and they're in their first season of eligibility for the NCAA tournament too. So that makes a lot of difference. And this is the last go in Wisdom Gym too, because that new event center will be completed for the 2025-26 season. So, very interesting.
Nice portal. Brock's had a nice portal class. A couple 1,000-point scores. One D3 conference player of the year. I'm interested to see this class in action.
100%.
The numbers look pretty good.
Okay, number 6 for the men. Let's pull it out. Oh, my alma mater. Todd Phillips and crew. Can't see it. It's still not coming through. Utah Valley. There we go. The Wolverines. Todd Phillips in his first year as head coach at Utah Valley. One more games than Mark Pope did in his first year at Utah Valley. One more games than Mark Madsen did in his first year at Utah Valley. He did lose Drake Allen to Utah State. Kamani Doty, I saw, was at, I think it was Indiana State. He transferred there. That's kind of weird. But he has Ethan Potter, who was having a huge season once he was finally inserted into the starting lineup last year. Osiris Grady's back. Tanner Toulson is back. They added the, what's his name? The UConn transfer. Oh, what's his name? Andre Johnson Jr.
And then a pair of twins from UCI, correct?
Yeah, the Welling twins, Hayden and Carter. Carter's 6'10". That's about the only size they have. They're not very big this year in terms of size-wise, but they have guys that can shoot it. They brought over LMU transfer Noah Tates. Let's see, who else is there? Tyler Medeiros is a freshman. Kylan Green from Daytona State. So they have pieces in place, and they got Jackson Holcomb. He redshirted last year, 6'7" guard out of Timpanogos High School that I think they're very high on. So there's some pieces there. We'll see what they have for year 2. I just, it's still everybody's looking up at GCU. That's all I can say. So we'll see what Utah Valley can do. They are number 6 on the team preview on the men's side. So let's keep going. Number 7 for the women, Derryl.
All right, women's team number 7 is going to be GCU.
Molly Miller's crew. It gives Trinity San Antonio some time to recover from her Olympic run. She played really well.
She did.
She was averaging almost a triple-double every
She started
game.
the first 2 games, and then she only logged, I think it was 8 minutes in the third game.
Here's the big thing about GCU women. Can they get over the hump? Okay. So 2001 WAC tournament, they made it to the championship game, lost to CBU. That CBU team was dominant. So there's no shame in that one. Okay. Like, they were so good. Ane Oleda, Caitlin Harper, man, that Brittany
Clayman, Sydney Palma before she transferred over.
Holy cow. Like, that team was loaded. Like, nobody was going to beat them unless it was some team that was just better. But there were 27 teams, I think they played, and only one team was better than them that year.
And it was Rice in the WNIT, and that was after Oleda missed that game with an injury the night before.
Yeah. So, and then 2021-22, they
SFA
got beat by SFA. 22-23, they got beat pretty good in the I believe it was the semifinals against Southern Utah. And then in the semifinals against SFA again at the WAC tournament last year, SFA was able to hold on and win that ball game. So can not just the WAC tournament championship, can they get over the hump in a regular season title? Because they haven't won one yet.
And they were in control of the regular season race up until the last 2.5 weeks.
It was kind of hit or miss. They had a chance to win it outright
at home.
But remember, they lost. Well, I shouldn't say out. Was it outright?
No, that would have been for a tie.
Would have been tied.
CBU had clinched the Thursday before.
Home the following week. But they lose to CBU at home, so that dashes basically any hope of winning it outright. And then CBU, that was when CBU clinched a share of it, and then CBU won it outright the following week.
In Phoenix.
Can Molly Miller's crew finish? Tiara Brown is back. Trinity San Antonio's back, plus a few other key pieces. I think Olivia Lane's back, right?
No, Olivia Lane's out of eligibility. She signed a pro contract to play in Luxembourg.
But the twin sisters are still there.
Yes, the Erikstrups have eligibility still. She's added a couple of nice transfers from UNLV, a top 25 college insider program, a couple of nice three-point shooters.
Well, there's possibilities there. So can they get over the hump? We'll have to see how that goes. I know there's a lot of hype, especially in their last season in the WAC, as we mentioned with the men. So we'll see if Molly Miller's crew can get over the hump.
And there's got to be some motivation there, especially the way the regular season finished last year.
Yeah, with that loss to, what was it? It was the loss at –
Lost to SFA at Nacogdoches,
Yep.
leading by double digits in the second quarter.
Yep.
Lost to CBU at home, and then lost to SFA again. Because remember, they played SFA twice in 10 days or something like that.
Yep. All right. Number 7 for the men. My friends in Cedar City, Southern Utah. Rob Jeter's year 2 down there. My guy Tennessee Owens, one of his staffers. One of his assistants, I should say. I think there's people better be on the lookout for Southern Utah. I think there's a lot of talent there. There's a lot of athleticism, and I think they're going to be a lot better in year 2. Let's just put it that way, because Rob Jeter and the staff have got their guys that they wanted in there. You know, they're kind of had the roster turnover, right? But yeah, look for Southern Utah. I'm looking forward to talking to Rob Jeter about the team this year. Good guy. We talked a lot last year. And yeah, I like what they're doing in Cedar City. I think it's going to be a better year, much better year for the T-Birds. Number 8, Derryl, this will kind of conclude our women's and men's thing when we choose this number 8 team, because there's only 2 left on the women's side. There is ACU and CBU. So it's either going to be ACU and CBU on the women's side for number 8.
It'll be ACU at number 8.
ACU, and then the defending champions, CBU, will be the final team we preview on the women's side. So let's talk about this ACU squad. I think Peyton Hull was really good. Bella Earl is a triple-double waiting to happen. Losing your point guard like a few weeks before the WAC tournament starts, like that was a little weird. Not sure I understood all that, but I think people need to watch for this ACU women's squad and Julie Goodenough squad. I think they're going to be dangerous.
They're going to have moments. Also, they lost Addison Martin to Illinois State over the offseason. But Meredith Mays will likely fill that role. And in the 5 games that Mays started when Martin was out with an ankle injury sustained in that win at Moody over CBU, I think Mays showed herself to be a capable starter down there in the post. I'm excited to see what she can do as a sophomore over a 18-game conference schedule.
Yeah, my only concern is, I mean, Meredith Mays has size at 6'2". They have another freshman who's 6'4" from Amy Flippin from Glen Rose, Texas, Glen Rose High School. You never know what a freshman's going to do. I mean, Peyton Hull, we knew what we were getting. I mean, she was very, very good. So it'll be interesting to see how Amy Flippin fits into the rotation if she does. But man, they got to be better defensively, I think, is the big thing. They got to be better defensively. They can score with anybody, but they got to be better defensively next year. Okay, so for the men, I have ACU and who am I missing? Tarleton. One of the 2. Okay, let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. I'll pick here we go. Tarleton will be number 8. Can't see it. Can't see it. Can't see it. Where is it at?
You got it. You got it. You had it. Back.
There we go. Tarleton. Number 8. So that means ACU is number 9. So Billy Gillespie's back. Oh, whoops. That's not right. Let me just put this in correctly. Southern Utah. 8 is Tarleton. 9 is ACU. So Tarleton, Billy Gillespie's back. Freddie Hicks is back in Stephenville. But they did lose almost everybody from that roster from last year. At least all the starters. The guys got significant minutes, right? From that team that was they had that loss to Utah Valley that cost them a share of the regular season title at home. That was one of like 2 losses they had at home, 3 losses they had at home all year long, right? It's gonna be interesting to see. Again, they're done with the transition. They're eligible for the NCAA tournament. Billy Gillespie has told me that they want to win a national title at Tarleton. So what's he going to do with his roster, with his team? How are they going to build off of last year? Joseph Jones is now an assistant at UTSA, so he's not even on Billy Gillespie's staff anymore. Don't know what went on there. It is what it is. But man, I'm very interested to see Freddie Hicks' final go around. He's back at Tarleton now, so very interested to see how that plays out. And then ACU, Brett Tanner's crew lost some key pieces, but I think they're going to be better than they were last year. I really do. I say that because I think that they got a bigger guard in Nazir DeGrood. He came along a little bit. He's still got to be more aggressive. Leo Bethiel, 6'8", 214-pound junior. That guy, I love his game in the paint. I really do. And I think he's going to be very, very good. Let's just put it that way. He's going to be very, very good. They brought in Oklahoma State transfer Keon Williams. Talking to one of their assistants, Seiko Boone, they love the athleticism that they have this year. Hunter Jack Madden is back for another go. But they love the athleticism they have. And they got a 7-footer. Cade Horniker from Southern Illinois, redshirt sophomore. I don't know that Brett Tanner's had a 7-footer at ACU. I don't know if there's been a 7-footer at ACU in a while. So a lot of size, a lot of athleticism, and ACU is always a fun team to watch. So, I'm excited about these team previews. Like I said, we're going to start off with UT Arlington. Both the men and the women will be next week. I got to get with Todd Cruff. They got a new SID down there. He did reach out to me the other day. Who was it? Where are you at? Jordan Stepp, the new SID, Associate AD of Communications for the UT Arlington men's basketball team, and Todd Cruff, the SID for the UTA Lady Mavs. Great people to work with. Jason McBain, I am still mad at you for leaving the WAC. I know you're probably not even watching this, but I know you got a better opportunity at FIU and wish you the best. So, Derryl, we're going to close this. We've gone on for 43 minutes now. I didn't want to go that long, but we got the picks out. We got the 9th week set up for team previews. One last thing. What are you most looking forward to heading into the 2024-25 season?
I think the biggest story in the WAC is, can GCU on the women's side get it done in their final go? Like we talked about earlier, they've literally been the dog scratching at the doggy door, but can't find their way in. And this is their last go around in the WAC before they head to a much tougher WCC.
No.
And I think if you can't get it done here, you're probably not going to get it done in the WCC.
Yep, I agree. WCC is a little bit tougher on the women's side for sure. So we'll see. The other thing is man, with all the resources they put into basketball at GCU, you got to win championships. That's the big thing. So I agree with you on that. That's a big thing. On the men's side, what am I looking forward to? GCU fans will say I'm hating on them. I'm not. But anybody else but GCU going to the NCAA tournament from the WAC as a WAC representative. That's the one thing I'm looking for. I don't think it'll happen. GCU is going to be my pick all the way through. But man, I mean, they've been there, 3 out of the last 4 years? Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
2021, 23, 24. 22 they didn't because New Mexico State went in their second.
They beat, was it UConn, right?
That's when New Mexico State was the last team to beat UConn in the NCAA tournament. So that year in 2022. So that's one thing I'm looking at. I'm also looking to see how UTA responds after that WAC championship loss last year, that WAC tournament championship loss. I think they're going to be good. They've got their schedule's not particularly tough. They don't have any power fours. What are they? Power 6 conference teams on there. So it's not going to jump out at you. A lot of that's because nobody wants to play UT Arlington because, it's not a win-win or win-lose situation type deal. So, anyways, guys, that's what we're looking forward to. I also think it's going to be really awesome that Sharika Wright is going back to her old stomping grounds and taking her team there to Big Ten country, back to where she was an All-American at Purdue. So, yeah, yeah. So, anyways, everybody, again, we're going to have 2 episodes next week with previews of UT Arlington. On Friday, we will have our team preview specifically. We'll have some other write-ups about the teams throughout the week, Monday and Wednesday. We'll have 2 interviews through Tuesday and Thursday. And then Friday will be the ultimate team preview of each team on the Substack. So go to WACHoopsNation.com and subscribe to the Substack. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss these episodes. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate all the support. And glad we're back. Can't believe the season is what?
87 days or 88 days, something like that.
A little over 2.5 months. And I still got old man slow pitch softball to play. Speaking of that, Logan Packer, I know you asked me a question. What was my favorite memory? I will end this episode on that. From playing old man slow pitch softball. I could go with the tournament that we just won back in July. Those are fun. But one night playing league in Orem, Utah. We play doubleheader league on Wednesday nights, and I think we were down like 4-5 in the last inning, and we scored 2, and then there was on a double, and the next guy got a single. So there were 2 guys on, and before the second guy got on, I told our manager, I was like, "Hey, Carson's going to hit a home run to tie the game, then I'm going to hit a home run to walk us off and to win it." He's like, "No, you're not. No, that's not going to happen. No." Boom. Carson, guy in front of me, hits a 3-run bomb to tie it up. Boom. I hit a ball over the fence, throw my arms up, and scream, we win. It was a way to walk off the night. That's one of my favorite memories, I think, from playing softball, especially because I was 41 at the time. So I was an old man. Still am an old man. So good times, everybody. For Derryl, for myself, follow us at WAC Hoops Nation, and we'll see you on the next episode of Straight Outta WAC After Hours.
Thanks for listening to the Straight Outta WAC podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other podcasting platforms. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to follow us on Twitter at WAC Hoops Digest and Facebook under WAC Hoops Digest for all your WAC Hoops news and information.